Welcome to the K-Files this morning, and I have JP in the house from Middlesex. I said we're representing Spring Hope and Middlesex in the southern end of the county today, so on the airwaves. So anyway, glad to have you here, JP, with me.
Glad to be here.
I'm
Good
his
morning.
sidekick, or he's mine. We haven't figured that out yet.
I'm yours.
Anyway, no, I think I'm your sidekick because you do a great job of bringing us JP reads our cases and does a great job.
You mentioned the Leaning Tree. I want to put a plug in for
Yeah.
them. Great restaurant. It's actually a venue as well. People have gotten married there next door. They're putting in a brand new pizzeria out back. Authentic Italian food, really, really good food. They recently got their ABC license. So for those that want like a beer or a mixed drink, you can do that thing if that's what you want. But great place to eat. Good food, very reasonably priced, and really nice.
Well, I have a pasta-loving family, except
Well, you
me.
would enjoy it.
Except me. Do they have anything that's not pasta?
Yeah, I mean, their menu is constantly changing. As a matter of fact, we went just a few weeks ago, and she told us to try the mussels. I've never had mussels.
Okay, I
never.
love those.
And I was like, I'm not sure about this. She said, JP, try it. If you don't like it, free.
Oh, I love those.
And I'm telling you, I loved it.
Oh, I will.
Really good.
Well, then I will take the family to the Leaning Tree down there, and it's in Bailey.
It is. It's in
Right.
Bailey, kind of right
Yeah.
across from the post office on
Yes.
old US 264 going right through the middle of town.
Mm-hmm.
Great restaurant. Really nice.
Well, this morning, I thought it appropriate that and I'll see if I can find it, or you can, but I thought it would be appropriate to read the letter from the police chief of Nashville. He has resigned. And so he wrote a letter
Mm-hmm.
and wanted the citizens to, read it and know
And
exactly
as you know, I
how
mean, me and
he
him are
feels.
good friends. I mean, he has come on the show numerous times.
He
Great
has.
guy.
He has.
Has done a lot of good things for Nashville Police Department, for his people. I hate the situation happened and unfolded the way it did. I have not talked to him through this.
Right.
And I'm not going to have, here we go. But yeah, I don't mind reading it at all. I've just got to scroll and find it.
But he felt like he wanted to tell his side, and you know what? He
Absolutely.
should. He absolutely should tell his side. And he says that, he makes it clear that he still wants to stay in law enforcement.
And he should.
Just because he's, not the police chief anymore. And I think there's some citizens that are upset about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they liked him. So I just really, I really hate that it happened. And as you said, he's been on the K-Files before several times. So very approachable.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And his guys loved him.
yeah,
And I'm sure they still do.
yeah.
This is the statement from J.T. Winstead, the former Nashville Chief of Police. It is with a heavy heart that I have submitted my resignation as Chief of Police for the town of Nashville. It saddens me that local politics and personalities have fueled a fire that undermined my support with the town manager and town council. For the past 5 years, I have worked day and night to protect the citizens of Nashville. I have been steadfast in my duties throughout my 21-year career in law enforcement. I have worked diligently to uphold the rule of law, to treat my fellow citizens with the highest level of respect and dignity. I grew up in Nashville. Nashville's my home. People around here know me. They know my reputation is built on honesty, character, integrity, and hard work. I will proudly stand by the work I have done in Nashville and Nash County. I want the people of Nashville to know that this incident is more about a clash of personalities than it is about the professional law enforcement services provided to them. It's typical small town politics. I understand that and I accept it. However, I will always defend my personal and professional reputation. I look forward to continuing my career in law enforcement. I am most grateful for all the support and well wishers that I have received from the Nashville citizens, business owners, and friends from the law enforcement and fire services community. J.T. Winston. And you know, he hit the nail on the head. I mean, look at what's going on. We'll just, without going into it, look at what's going on in Nash County.
Yeah.
Okay? Politics, egos, I call it ring kissing. It doesn't have to be a small town.
Right.
It can be a county. You get people's personalities, you get people's emotions. I call it large and in charge. You buck me, I'm coming after you. You know, it's everywhere. It's in the workplace. And it's just something that that's one reason I left the sheriff's office 25 years ago. I loved the job. I did not like the fact that politics played a role every 4 years.
Right.
I went through one election cycle and I thought, you know what? This is not for me. As vocal as I am, as opinionated as I am, I'm going to end up getting fired. And so I kind of went on my way.
Right. Well, is it a good thing or not that the sheriff's positions are elected positions?
Yes, because the people get to choose. Now, what I don't like in that is, and I'm not just talking about Nash County, this is statewide, the sheriff has absolutely no control over his finances. So he is at the beck and call, he's at all these things that he wants to do or is trying to do. If he bumps head with the wrong person, they can make him look bad quick. They can play with his funding. They can affect his response time. They can affect in other words, they can do what they want to do to make him appear to not be doing his job in the community, and it can affect him politically. And the only tool that a sheriff has is to come out and inform the people, blow the whistle and say, look, before this blows up on me, I need to help point I need to put this on the radar almost as a warning that this could happen. And I don't blame them. Again, I'm not just talking about national, I'm talking about statewide.
Right.
I wish the sheriff had more control over his purse strings, but unfortunately, that's not how it works.
Well, what I don't understand is asset forfeiture money. The sheriffs go after that. But they have to turn it in to the county and then it's re-divvied out, is that right? Or you don't get to,
I'm not,
I mean, you don't get to just keep it in your pot, I don't think, and say, okay, I'm gonna do what I want to with it. I don't think it works that way. Even though you go after and you bring it in,
I can't speak to the sheriff's department. But now, like with the highway patrol, it's my understanding that if we seized $5 million, okay, we would share a sliver of it, like with the federal government, but that money was the patrols to spend. We didn't have to go to the legislature and say, hey, this $5 million that we seized from drug dealers, can we spend it on a car or additional equipment or what have you? In other words, it was the patrols to spend. We didn't have to seek permission outside the patrol. And I would assume that it works the same way at the sheriff's office. You know, that it is the sheriff's to allocate and spend outside of his budget.
right.
And again, I might be wrong on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. We'll have to ask the sheriffs. I can ask Sheriff Atkinson or Sheriff Stone. Either one, we'll do that and see if we can't find out how that works.
But now I will tell you this, as far as the sheriff goes, we worked together for almost 30 years. He is a man of integrity. He is a man that will look you straight in the eye and tell you exactly where he thinks you stand. He will call a spade, good, bad, or indifferent. And again, I'm not talking about the county commissioners, I'm not talking about the county manager. But at the end of the day, I will take what the sheriff tells me to the bank.
Okay, all right. Well, you worked with him for 30 years, so, like you said, so, I mean, you should know. So,
Just my opinion.
let's talk about the fundraiser.
We've got the Highway Patrol fundraiser coming up. This is for the Caisson unit. It's going to be November 18th, 2023, 5 to 9 p.m. Rocky Mount Mills. All you can eat oysters, shrimp, fish, barbecue, and the fixings. Tickets are $75. If you'll call me 919-369-0311, I will get you these tickets. I will deliver them to you. Also, this weekend is the 3rd annual Pig at the Depot barbecue fundraiser. I had a picture that I was going to get him to kind of pull up.
Okay, you gave it to him?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Pernell, if we can pull up that picture. Pig at the Depot, last year was the first one.
It was the 3rd annual.
Oh, 3rd.
This is the
Okay.
3rd
There you
annual
go.
Pig at the Depot. Alan Chesner has got a cook team.
Oh,
Freddie Howell
really?
has got a cook team. And any winnings is donated, like I think Freddie's team is donating their winnings to the Middlesex Children's Home to be used for Christmas gifts and things like that.
Okay.
But it is this weekend, Saturday, November 4th, at the Spring Hope Train Depot downtown from 11 to 4. Free event, bring your lawn chairs, sit out, have a good time. Also, the Stanhope Fire Department down in Stanhope is having a barbecue chicken and pork plate sale from 11 o'clock until selling out.
Well, that
That's always a
sounds
big
good.
turnout too.
Stanhope isn't
Got a lot going on this
that
weekend.
far.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, I drove that haul for a long time to Southern Nash every day. And the Stanhope Fire Department is right there on the right,
Mhm.
97, as you get into...
At the intersection of 97 and Southern Nash High Road.
Yes. So anyway, that's where it is. You can still get barbecue chicken plates. It didn't end with Oak Level last weekend. So we love those, and we always try to support and get one of those. But Pig at the Depot, I wish we'd have known about it. We would have been advertising it a whole lot longer. But anyway, that was a really good event from what I understand. So
I've never
please
been
go.
either, but the people that I talked to that have been, they talk like it is a really great event. Just to go and watch the different cook teams.
Yeah.
Like I think Freddie's cook team has got like the mayor from Bailey, the mayor from Spring Hope, Freddie. There's a handful of local people from down south that's on his cook team. Same thing with Alan Chester. A lot of local people that are just friendly competition
Oh yeah.
for charity.
Just a fun time and good food. And so people can purchase a plate from there?
Yeah, I've never been. I don't know how that
I can't
works.
remember. I remember Kyle, the mayor, Kyle Pritchett, came last year and really detailed it and talked about it. And I'm trying to remember.
The flyer says it's a free event, so I don't.
I don't know. We'll find out. I'll try to find out today, and we'll try to announce tomorrow how that goes. But anyway, go on down there Saturday and join them in the town of Spring Hope. And we were just talking about how nice Spring Hope is. Quaint little town, and go down there and have fun. So anyway, and the fundraiser for the Highway Patrol, the tickets are for the Caisson unit. You know, we've talked about that. It's expensive. It's a very expensive venture to have the Caisson unit in place. So it just needs, every year, it just needs, they have to fundraise to replenish the pot, because those horses eat a lot.
They do.
And they have vet bills, and all of that. So anyway, please help them out, because, you know, if it were to be your loved one, if you have a loved one in law enforcement, and if it were to be your loved one that uses that, I promise you, you will just get chill bumps. It is a wonderful thing that they do. So anyway, if you want a ticket, call JP, how can they call you?
They can call me or text me at 919-369-0311, and I will deliver these tickets to you. I don't care if you buy one or if you buy 10.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to go to break and come back with some cases right after this. Okay, welcome back to the K-Files. We're going to bring you some cases this morning, whichever ones JP will tell me we're on, but I'll go ahead and tell you a little bit about how Team Cold Case works. We do fundraisers once a year, around April or May, and that's to replenish the pot because we want to pay you. We want to give you money. We need tips. We need your help. The public is just very, very vital in this relationship with Team Cold Case. And we want you to report what you know anonymously. We will not know who you are. We have text to tip with the Rocky Mount PD. We have all kinds of ways. The 406-6736 is the hotline number. We have Twin County Crime Stoppers. We have Halifax County Crime Stoppers. We have all of these things. Here we go, right there. Purnell's on the button this morning. So there's all kinds of ways for you to report what you know. And let's face it, it gets these people off the street so they will not. They're repeat offenders. They keep doing it if they're not caught. They think, well, I got by this time, I'll be able to get by next time, and they get a little braver. I mean, you're in law enforcement.
Mhm.
You were in law enforcement. You know they get a little braver, don't they, JT?
They do. You get more
JT.
brazen. They do.
Yes. We're talking about JT Winston. I'm saying JT, not JP. But anyway, so that's how it works. They just get braver and braver. And so we've got to get these people off the street. We have to. So please, and give closure to families. And you do not have to wait for conviction. You do not have to go to court. None of that. It is upon arrest. They just have to be arrested. That's all. And law enforcement decides how much you get. The pot is up to $15,000, according to how valuable your tip was. And as law enforcement says, all tips are valuable. Even if your tip goes nowhere, if you saw a car in the vicinity of the crime, call. It doesn't matter. No tip is too small. They're happy to investigate it. If it leads to nowhere, that's fine. They'd rather have it than not have it. So, all right.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get started. So what case are we doing today?
We're going to talk about Lacey Bunch. This case is from December 20th, 2020. Lacey Bunch. Around 6:30 a.m. on December 20th, 2020, 72-year-old Lacey Bunch disappeared from his residence on Bell Street in Enfield. Family members state that they heard Bunch leave the residence around 6:30 a.m. that morning. They soon realized that he was missing when his shoes were left behind. It was 36 degrees outside that morning, and Lacey left without shoes and only had the clothes on his back. Halifax County Sheriff's Office has conducted multiple searches and have come up empty-handed each time. And the reason I wanted to touch on this one this morning, and we've talked about it recently, think about how cold it is this morning. When I left my house, the temperature gauge said 27 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
It was cold outside.
And it's November. Now this is December
That's
the
right.
20th. You know daggone well it was cold.
Mm-hmm.
Now who's going to leave with their without their shoes?
Pitch black at 6:30 in the morning. Just disappeared with just the clothes on his back
And 72
and no
years
shoes.
old.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, I mean, we know there's got to be some foul play somewhere. So, if you know anything about Lacey Bunch, please call the number on the screen. Please call the number. Or you can call the Halifax County Crime Stoppers.
From what I understand, Halifax County Sheriff's Office has hired an investigator who is tasked with only working cold cases. So this case is actually being reviewed or been reassigned to a cold case investigator in Halifax. I mean, yeah, folks, if you know anything about this, just know that Halifax County has a new investigator working this case right now.
Right.
He would love to hear from you. He would love for you to share any information about this case or any Halifax case that is a cold case.
Absolutely. If you see something, say something.
That's right. That's right. This next case is Elmo Harrison. Elmo Harrison. This case is from December 31st, 2021. Elmo Harrison, who is from Garysburg, North Carolina, went missing on December 31st, 2021. His abandoned 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee was found on Highway 64 near Atlantic Avenue in Rocky Mount. He was last seen wearing black pants and a black coat with a Korean war patch on it. Elmo Harrison, December 31st, 2021. No time is given, but it was New Year's Eve. Abandoned Jeep Grand Cherokee found at Atlantic Avenue at the exit here in Rocky Mount. Last seen wearing black pants, black coat, Korean wool patch.
Well, that's strange. Okay, so he's going down 64.
Probably had car trouble.
It must have been something like that.
I would assume so.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. And it didn't end so well, apparently. But this was in a case from 2000. No, the Jeep Cherokee was a 2004 model. And this happened December 31st, 2021. It's a very recent case, just a couple of years old. So nobody knows what happened at this point. He's a missing person, Elmo Harrison. So if you know anything about this, please. He was wearing black pants, as JP said, and a black coat with a Korean war patch on it. That's very identifiable. I mean, how many people are going to have a coat with a Korean war patch on it? So at that time, if you saw anything as you were passing by on 64, or as you know the person that did this, is usually the case because he's out there bragging to somebody, talking to somebody about it, so, or was. So please come forward if you know anything. Okay, well, that's all of it. We have been through all of the missing persons, and I'm sure we'll go back through them again another time, but we've been through all the missing persons in the book now. So we will go back to our regular cold cases, unsolved murders.
This one here is an older case. It is actually the first case in the book. We've got some pretty good information on it. Alma Ruth Atkinson. This case is from July 31st, 1982. Officers of the Wilson Police Department were dispatched to 608 Sugg Street in Wilson, North Carolina, in reference to a person who was hurt inside a residence. Officers arrived and found Alma Ruth Atkinson murdered as a result of a stabbing, which had occurred approximately between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. The suspect was described as a black male between the ages of 18 to 25. He had brown eyes, a medium afro, light skin complexion, and a very thin mustache that was curled up on each end, and a scar that was around 6 inches on his right leg near his ankle. The suspect would be somewhere around 55 to 65 years old now. That's a lot of detailed information.
Yeah, they've got
about
good
They
description.
do. They do.
Yeah.
July 31st, 1982, 608 Sugg Street in Wilson. Suspect, black male between 18 and 25, brown eyes, medium afro, light skin complexion. They've got like a little sketch here of the suspect with that very unique looking mustache. And it's almost like a carnival barker. It is rolled and curled on the end. Very unique.
But where did they get the
You know,
description?
I'm sure no camera. There must be an eyewitness to this going back to 1982.
Boy, they sure got a
And
good description.
they do. They've got a pretty good description here. And stop and think, if you knew somebody 30 years ago, 40 years ago, who had a very unique mustache, like you would
Yes.
remember them.
Yes, you would. Absolutely.
But
Okay.
that suspect would be about 55 to 65 years old now.
Okay.
Mm.
Brown eyes, medium afro, light complexion, thin mustache. So
hmm
if you know anything, please call the number on the screen.
This next case is Robert Earl Demery. This case is from September 22nd, 1977. 16-year-old Robert Demery was found shot in the parking lot of London Mills on the 500 block of Paul Street in Rocky Mount. He had just returned home that night from being out of state and was last seen getting off the bus at the Rocky Mount Trailways bus terminal on South Washington Street. A dark colored car was seen leaving the London Mills parking lot. London Mills, and I'm not familiar with, was that like a factory or something downtown?
Yes, it was, but you know what? That was before my time. I'm sure I was small. I don't remember where it was at.
Okay. Well, the Trailways bus depot, I'm assuming, and I don't know this, because I was like 3, I believe, at this time. Is that where the train station is now, or was it in a different location, or all my adult life, the Trailways or the bus station is
Washington
at the train station.
No, it was, well, you could say it was kind of across the tracks behind the train station. It was on Washington Street. Train station's on Church Street. That is on what was on Washington Street for years and years and years.
Okay.
And it's just right across the tracks from the train station.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
So he was last seen getting off the bus, and
A dark colored car was seen kind of leaving that general area about the same time. And it's not really saying that it is a suspect vehicle, it's just, it's possible. Just a car was last seen,
right.
in that general area.
Well, if you know anything, the show is flying by. We have to go to break, but we have a call. Let's see what this call's about. Good morning. Hello? Hello?
Sandra,
Yes.
that bus station's on the corner across the street from Dillon Supply Company.
Yeah, right there at Dillon Supply. You're
Okay.
exactly
Right
right.
across the street.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's it.
Exactly right. Thank
And
you.
the London Mills is over there. It's a factory.
Where was the London Mills located?
Yeah, it was a factory.
I knew it was a factory, but where was London Mills? Do you
It was,
know-
what was it, Paul Street?
It was on Paul Street.
It's right at the end of it.
Okay, over by Rocky Mountain Undergarment, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye. Well, he's listening. All right, we'll be right back, right after this. Okay, welcome back. Let's see, what case?
Bernice Smith.
Yes.
This next case, Bernice Smith, is from June 6, 1983. Sunday, June 5th, 1983, 23-year-old Bernice Smith left her parents' home in Scotland Neck with the intent of going to a local store or hangout. Bernice Smith was seen by multiple people walking through the town of Scotland Neck on that Sunday evening in the early hours of Monday morning. On Monday the 6th of June, a farm worker traveling down Baker's School Road found Bernice lying in a ditch on the side of the road. She had been struck multiple times in the head with a blunt object. Again, this case is from June 6th, 1983. Bernice Smith found lying in the ditch on the road, Baker's School Road. Lying in the ditch, been struck multiple times in the head with a blunt object.
Wow.
So if she was struck multiple times in the head, we know right off the bat she was probably not struck with a vehicle.
Right.
So it wasn't
Right.
accidental.
Exactly. You know, it says a farm worker traveling down Baker School Road. How many, and we've said this before, how many cases have deer hunters and farmers found people laying in the fields? We've talked about several cases, and this is another one where a farmer has just driving down the road, Baker School Road.
Well, you know, in 1983, there's a lot of people, a lot of farm workers that probably walked the road,
Yeah.
you know.
And in June, I mean, it's prime time for the. So anyway, if you know anything about Bernice Smith from 1983, please call the number. Please help us out. We need your help.
Hugh B. Phillips. This case is from January 28th, 1984. Hugh Phillips was walking on Northeast Main Street in the Douglas block of Rocky Mount when an unknown male physically assaulted and robbed him. Phillips died a few days later from his injuries. And that's all the information we have on that. We don't have any real detailed
Right.
suspect information other than that an unknown male physically assaulted and robbed him. Phillips died a few days later from these injuries.
And
from
you
the
know where
assault.
the Douglas block is. It happened right down there where the event center is now. That's the Douglas block. So that's where it was. If you saw anything and just didn't want to say anything, it's time to say something now. If you saw anything, a male being physically assaulted.
We don't have a time. And again, this is another case. In 1984, wasn't the Rocky Mount Police Department through there somewhere?
It was right behind there on Washington Street, right behind the main street. As a matter of fact, police department was on that same block, I think, just on the next street back. So, yes, assaulted right there by the police department. And robbery was apparently the motive. So, anyway, all right, I think we
All
can
right.
do one more.
Yeah. Okay, this next case is John Roy, I guess it's pronounced Reck.
I guess.
R-I-E-C-K. This case is from August 31st, 1987. Around midnight, John Rake, who was 40 years old at the time, was closing the Pizza Hut located at 1502 Western Boulevard in Tarboro, where he was the manager. A group of individuals approached Reek to rob him. Reek was beaten with a chair and stabbed over 30 times.
I remember this being in the news. I remember this case.
And it was from 1987. The suspects fled and took a briefcase that belonged to Rake. Rake was still able to contact his wife and call for help. When EMS and police arrived, he was only able to provide little information. He passed away before arriving at the hospital. His briefcase was later found near I-95. Witnesses saw a 1970s model light-colored Ford LTD in the parking lot around midnight that may have been involved. The suspects are described as two black males and a dark-complexioned Hispanic male. These suspects would be in their 50s or 60s now.
Wow. That's sad.
That
The
is.
man was getting off of work
Mhm.
at Pizza Hut in
Tarboro.
And his vehicle, you know it was a
Mhm.
robbery because his vehicle was found, his briefcase found on I-95. So and see, the sad thing is, whoever it was, they probably hit I-95 and kept on
Gone.
going.
Mhm.
They're just gone. But if you do know anything, please, I mean, this is a sad case. I mean, he died before he ever got to the hospital. Just a sad, he was the manager. He was the manager of the Pizza Hut in Tarboro, so
And that's now the Ribeye Steakhouse, if I'm not
I-
badly mistaken.
I think you're right. I think you're right. It's right there. So, if you know anything, please say something. I remember when this happened. I remember hearing about it, and so he was about 40 years old at the time. The manager, John Reck, and it happened around midnight. I guess they closed. You know, pizza restaurants can close a little bit late. Now, I remember Pizza Inn used to stay open until, because they had beer, and they'd be open until 11, 12.
And then they have to clean up. They have to
Yeah.
probably do light prep work for the
Yeah.
next morning. So, I mean, I could see him
Sure.
leaving it.
I can see him being there.
Because he's probably the last one to leave.
Uh-huh. Which is bad. I wouldn't want to be the last one to leave at that time of night. But anyway, if you know anything about John Roy Reek, that was the manager of the Pizza Hut in Tarboro at that time, 1987, please give us a call. There's the number on the screen. Or you can contact the Tarboro Police Department, Edgecombe County Sheriff's Department, whoever you want to contact for that case. But anyway, thank you, JP, for being with me this morning. And thank y'all for watching, and we'll see you next Thursday.